trying to manage the air, get them through it cleanly, make it work for them in the corners with grip. However, the V component is Volkswagen. Underneath these slippery skins, every one of them are running Volkswagen Beetle engines, drivetrains, and suspension components. And what that means, regardless of how slippery the chassis are, the racing is still going to be incredibly close. The grids are very close packed. This one is going to start things off in fine style. Now, I mentioned we've got a lot of different action coming your way this day, and that means lots of stories. With more on what to expect as the day unfolds, let's check in with four-time and reigning Trans Am champion, Tommy Kendall.
Thanks, Greg. I already feel right at home here in the showroom stock C paddock amongst all these full-fendered cars. Standing here with defending champion Paul Bonacorsi, who won the title last year in a Neon. This year he changed things up in a very bold move, switching to a Mazda. Do you think that was the right call?
Yes, I do. Based upon our times here this week, matching my times as the last year's Neon, and I think it could go a little bit faster in the race, and we're going to make it go a little faster in the race, and it handles really well.
Well, there you have it. In racing, it's a constantly moving target, and Paul has decided to change things up a little bit. He's got the #1 plate, which is like a bullseye. For more in this motorsports circus, let's go for more information on the next act to Dorsey Schrader.
Thanks, Tommy. Next up, one of the most competitive open-wheel classes of all time, Formula Ford. Now, the man that's dominated that class for the last 2 years, winning both years, is Bruce May. Bruce, can you make it 3 in a row?
I think we can. We've got a pretty good package here. I get all the credit because I'm the nut behind the wheel, and that's what everybody sees. But the real world is I've got a great bunch of guys behind me. Got John Taylor, Steve Knapp taking care of the motors, Bruce Foss with Hoosier Tire, got Tony Kester doing the data collection, and I got Gid Gibson heading up my wrenches. So I got a package that I think is going to be pretty tough to beat.
Well, guys, it's got good crew members. This car, a 1983 Swift, has won the national championship 3 times, and I tell you what, it's going for 4 today. Next up, John Bizignano with a story.
Thank you, Dorsey. Now, Eric Heuschle is already a champion in this Dodge Neon. He won the PPG Neon Challenge, but his competition comes from a true sports car, the Miata. Now, Eric, how does a sedan car like this compete against a true sports car like the Miata?
Well, it's not easy, but these Dodges have one thing, and that's horsepower. So my plan is to get by them on the straights and slow them down a bit in the turns.
Now, wait a minute. That doesn't sound like Mr. Nice Guy. We've heard that sometimes you just sat back and watched the competition eliminate themselves. Are you going to do that here at Mid-Ohio?
Not at all. This weekend, I'm in full attack.
Full attack mode here with this Dodge Neon. There is no Mr. Nice Guy in this type of racing. It's just too competitive. Now down to the 5th man of our announce crew, good old Bobby Gerald.
John, this is the 34th SCCA Runoffs, but believe it or not, Kearney Racing was in action 16 years before the Runoffs even started. This is Don Kearney. This is his daughter, Linda. Now, during the regular season, they compete against one another. Only Don driving in the Runoffs today, and Don, in 50 years now of racing, you've seen an awful lot.
We've seen an evolution from safety pieces being leather helmets all the way up to the current stuff that we have now that you really have to screw up to be hurt.
Linda, how much longer are you going to let Don do this?
As long as he wants to. He wouldn't listen to me anyhow.
So how much longer, Don? You're 67 now. It's the 50th anniversary.
Well, I don't plan on quitting anytime soon. I figure I probably got another 20 left.
An absolutely beautiful day here in Mid-Ohio. Again, ready for our second day of 3 days of live coverage of the 34th annual SCCA Valvoline Runoffs at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Very challenging track. You see a big crowd on hand. I think they are aware that there is something special that is going to unfold here today and, of course, tomorrow. Why? Well, it's such a big event. It's the 34th annual Runoffs, as we mentioned, 4th consecutive here at Mid-Ohio. 23 champions will be crowned over 23 different races in these next 2 days, and of course including yesterday, over 600 entries from the United States and Canada, and well over 600 workers come from as far away as Hawaii and British Columbia, Canada. So representation throughout North America, no question. 39 states here are covered by drivers, and there are workers here from all 50. The youngest driver is 16, the oldest is 77. Doesn't seem to make any difference. The competition is fierce regardless of class or age. It is some superb racing. And we certainly saw some phenomenal racing here in our live coverage yesterday. A number of national champions were crowned. And Dorsey Schrader, obviously, there were the very happy moments, but there was some fierce competition as well. It was a great day.
quite typical of the Runoffs. I'll tell you, there's nothing better anywhere. There's no more race cars, no better racing than this week here. If you're a road racing fan, this is where you gotta be.
And Tommy Kendall, obviously, this is somewhat new for you, I think, joining the announce crew this year. And what did you think of yesterday?
Well, for me, it's more about the flavor. And the thing I really stood out to me was the intensity and the enjoyment these people have. The best analogy I can make, it's like being at the Final Four. Amateur sports, there's a lot more interest. It's pure love, whereas in big business auto racing, there's some other factors. Here, it's just all about loving the sport.
And it was on display in full force yesterday. I think a great indicator of what we are going to see tomorrow. That, by the way, is Steve Four winning a national championship in Atlantic and saluting his crew. Remember, certainly the drivers get a lot of exposure, but the crews get an awful lot of pleasure out of this. There's his crew. An absolutely tremendous day. Now, let's take a look at the winners that we had in yesterday's action. In Showroom Stock 8, Jeff Altenberg put on a very strong run, as did Phil Lasco in Touring 1. Pratt Cole, a great win in E-Production, long time coming. Dwayne Davis, another championship in GT2. Speaking of another championship, add one more to the Billington Tracer regime. Adam Malley in H-Production, a dominant run. As we said, Steve Four had a superb run as well. Now, one of the classes that has already run today was Formula 500. We can't get them all live for you, but we're bringing you updates on the classes we didn't get live. And as you can see, the Formula 500 machines making their way out on track. Very unique, small. They all run 500cc two-stroke engines, either a Rotax or an AMW engine. And when the racing was done, it was a great race. Michael Brent took the win in front of Wes Wilfong, who started third in a Sidewinder, the engine alongside the driver, very unique. Moved to second. Lapham, Ron Vince moved up into fourth, qualified much further back than that. And then Howell Jones in fifth. Now again, Mike Brent had a strong run, and he's with Biz.
Mike Brent, you won with style, straight from pole position right through to the checkered flag, but you had a lot of competition right behind you.
Yes, we did. Those guys are filling my mirrors throughout the entire race.
Well, congratulations on a wonderful win to your crew, yourself, your first championship. You are the national champion.
Well, thank you very much. Couldn't have done it with my QC1 Invader. Thank you very much, John.
The second day of 3 days of live coverage of the 34th annual SCCA Valvoline Runoffs will begin here on Speed Vision right after this.
Riding along here with number 6, that's Randy Harris in his 94 Mysterian. He is qualified third today. You see the two cars in front of him up there, scrubbing their tires now at Mid-Ohio as they warm up on their pace lap, getting ready to the start of what should be a fantastic race, Formula V.
Well, here's what we're going to see today, Dorsey. We have starting off with Formula V, then we'll go right into Showroom Stock C. And again, the variety is what you need to pay attention to, folks. Something different in every race. Formula Ford, Showroom Stock B, A Sedan, and then we got two more races that we had earlier in the day that we will give you some updates on. So lots of action to come. Now, the Formula V race last year was very exciting. Let's go back to the live call from last year. Oh, Dad's got the camera out. This is a photo finish of a whole different sort here. He's all by himself, essentially. But it's the memory, and Jacques Lazier, 27th position, up to the win. Look at that. He is elated. You know, Jacques is pumped. The Indy 500 and a national championship for that family in one season. Not too shabby. Well, again, the race coming up, that is how it ended up last year, by the way. Jacques Lazier again from 27th, and Bill Walschlager, Jim Kearney, Howard Landon, and Mike Rotchins. Those top four, by the way, are here for racing today, and obviously everybody behind Jacques have some items they might like to finish up on here. So be watching for that. Here is our Valvoline starting grid, and in the first row, it's John Ruffner, number 76. Jacques Lazier, this time second, not 27th. Randy Harris and Bob Neumeister on the second row. Jim Kearney, Greg Burns, row 3. Howard Landon, we mentioned, and Sherman Engler on row 4. And the rest of the field working down. Somebody to watch, number 80, Stephen Davis, back in 11th. Jeff Lowhead in 12th. Brad Stout also is going to be strong. He's back in 14th. Noble, a 5-time champ, way back there. And keep in mind as well that Bill Walschlager back there in 23rd is somebody you're going to want to watch. And then the remainder, Eric Tremaine in 31st, very quick driver. You can see how deep this field is. The top 15 covered by less than a second. This racing is going to be absolutely furious, no question. Cars are out working around. Now, here is our Dodge track description, and as you can see, very good track, a little different than the Pro track. I think, Dorsey, the Club track even more exciting.
Yeah, the keyhole up here, the little white dot up there is a chicane type of a thing. Pro cars go straight up the keyhole. In this case, they go through a little chicane. Keyhole, real fast corner, gets on the long straightaway, brings you down in the S's. Thunder Valley, very scenic through there, brings you up into the carousel turn, leading onto the front straightaway. You see the start-finish line is different in this racetrack, so we have to watch for that.
All right, and of course there the cars are getting ready to go. One of the drivers that is here has had a rough road to hoe to make it to the runoffs this year. Let's check in.
Earlier this year on July 5th at Indianapolis Raceway Park, Jeff Lawhead was involved in a very serious crash. It was a 15-car pileup, if you can believe that. And this car was damaged so severely that from this point forward, it was all gone. It didn't even exist. Well, the car is in one place and ready to go for the runoffs, and so is the pilot. Jeff Lawhead suffered a concussion in that crash, but he looks ready. Jeff, are you?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I bounced back real quickly. However, the car's taken a little while to get back together. It's taken us about 6 to 8 weeks to get the car back in working order, and we spent over the last week trying to get it sorted out in order to go quickly. They knocked us out of the last half of the season, so one of our competitors actually offered the use of one of their cars, an Adams Aero, and I was able to complete the last 2 races of the season in their car while we developed this one. We've been spending the last week trying to get the speed back in this car. We've been going more quickly each session, and so we're hoping to be right at the front at the end.
Jeff Lawhead hoping that hard work will pay off.
Well, and watch for Jeff again coming up from 12th in that number 7 machine, the Citation. Field right now working through the keyhole, and there's the in-car once again. Number 6, Randy Harris, going to keep an eye on him. Qualified 3rd, obviously one of the front runners, and they are making their way now down that straight. There is the starter for this race, one of the SCCA volunteer workers here. Boy, they're bringing them up slow.
A lot of cars here, and they got to bring them up slow. Watch for this jam down there, the traffic jam that happens at the end of this straightaway. You got 15 cars within 1 second. Everybody's going to go for that front row. It's going to be 5 wide. I'm guessing 5 wide when they go green, which should happen any second.
There it is, a field of 45 cars, all powered by the same power plants. Drop the hammer, accelerate down through that kink, and heading toward what they call the S's here. Doris, there's 4, there's 5. You got it, 5 abreast as they head in. Watch for the action here. Turning in, so far so good. Very close on the turn in. Somehow, everybody thus far making their way through. Nice piece of driving. Pack looking okay, Tommy.
Well, that's a miracle. That's almost like starting a race in the rain with no rain. It's just chaos everywhere. But these guys with the open wheels have a healthy respect for each other, and they know they can't have much of a race if they don't make it through the first corner. One guy taking the real extreme outside there, but everyone through clean.
And again now, coming down, heading, whoa, somebody get a little bump there, heading down toward turn 11 and into Thunder Valley. Action fast and furious. Looks like the lead group of 3 has broken away just a little bit, make that 4 as they work through. I think Jacques Lazier has dropped back a little bit. 77 Kearney right in the middle of that second pack.
Very important for these guys to get it sorted out quickly and get in single file line, because these cars don't have a lot of power. They need help drafting, and they're doing that right now. They're trying to get checked up, everybody get in single file, and you'll try to see packs work together to break away. These guys will be going slow here. Oh, 35 is in the ditch with the left front wheel completely tore off. He's probably had some help from this guy, number 80, as he's trying to find his way back onto the tarmac.
Well, 35, Brad Stout, one of the front runners in the Midwestern division. And interestingly, number 80, Stephen Davis, a 2-time national champ out, and Stout not happy.
Yeah, I mean, that, what do you expect? The guy, the first lap of the race, you've waited a long time for, and we don't know exactly what led to that, but it doesn't matter at this point. Gosh, more chaos. 4 cars out, that's turn 1. Only 1 is stuck in the gravel. The other cars should be able to get going. The one car's high center. I would guess we're going to have a full course caution to clean some of these out of the gravel.
Yeah, that's a tough area. That's number 88, Richardson. And there's number 80, Stephen Davis, as I said, a 2-time former national champ. And it looks like he's done for the day. And 88, once again, Mark Richardson from the Central Division, the champion in that division. Here's what happened.
Oh, that's exiting turn 1, and when we saw the cars were already sideways, these guys here have nowhere to go. They had to go to the outside because the track was blocked and he would have butt that way. So they're all in the gravel pit. Here's another look, I think. Yeah, well, it's already happened. Something's happened coming out from underneath the bridge, and all this is reactionary to whatever happened up front.
You almost got to think that they tried to do something 2-3 abreast in turn 1, and that's tough.
Well, it was just real close quarters. You can see the yellow car loses at first, and the one car right behind him had nowhere to go, and everybody else, you have a split second to choose inside, outside. It's always easier to go outside because of the centrifugal force, and once you go that way, the cars eventually head that way, and you kind of get trapped. the two cars that got to the gravel straight, you notice one of the things you learn in racing, those gravel traps stop you, but if you keep the tires rolling forward, you can drive through them. And so this guy is able to get his car rolling again. He didn't unbuckle like Brad Stout, so he might be able to get going again. Double yellow, pace car.
We are full course yellow. Boy, those workers tried.
Just in time. He saves his lap. He was about
the
lap down there, so he's back on the same lead lap again.
Well, I was going to say, one of the nice things, if this happens early and the field's still bunched, you have a little time for the workers to get out and try and move him, but he was embedded in just a little too deep. Better to be safe, certainly. So we are 2 laps done, and once again now the lead has changed. Greg Bruns has gone to the front. We'll be back here at Mid-Ohio to sort it all out. More racing. Once again, back at Mid-Ohio, and it's under full course caution as the Formula Vs are deciding their national championship. Currently, it's number 99, Greg Bruns is your leader. You were just on board with our camera car, Randy Harris, who qualified 3rd, slipped to 4th, where he's running right now, and we are under yellow. Well, here's our top 5 again. Bruns, now Jacques Lazier, of course, qualified 2nd, stays there. John Ruffner, who was pole, is back to 3rd, then Harris, then 77, Kearney, who actually moved up a little bit, having a good early run as well. But again, we're under, whoa, somebody there. Oh, contact. Under full course caution, a little bit too aggressive here in trying to get tires warmed up.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, these cars are incredibly strong cars. It wouldn't surprise me if both those cars continue unscathed by that. But we saw that one car hit the back of the other car and climbed right over the wheel there. So there's a whole lot of race cars here, guys, on the racetrack, and they're all very, very equal. And when we see these incidents like we saw there in turn 1, that's what happens. It's not going to be a 1 or 2 car thing. You're going to see 3 or 4 cars get involved when we get problems.
That might have just been a show of affection, a little kind of Formula V mating ritual.
Well, once again, we are getting tires warmed up under full course caution. Earlier, G Production ran a very exciting class. Lots of older type cars were running. And here's the start of that race, very exciting. That is Dean Johnson, the black Triumph on the inside. He was on pole outside the red Triumph of Steve Sargis, and those two started off hard. Johnson right there gets the jump. Look at that. Hardy Prentice, number 26 in a very old Triumph, drops down onto the grass to get through, makes up a position, but Dean Johnson, that car known for its power, jumps out to a fairly stout lead early on. Sargis fends off the attack from the car that jumped into 3rd there and holds on, and look at that, off early, number 86, Kevin Gilbert. He just took the big loop heading off course.
Yes, Alpha just got in there a little too deep, got out in that grass. It rained last night. It's wet. You can see he just keeps spinning out.
All right, now check this out. You can see the smoke emanating from number 35, Dean Johnson, that right front tire. The smoke coming from there. Turns out it's a little more serious than that. Look at this battle right here, as that's an MG midget of number, I think that's 17, Hugh Armstrong. But look at the battle here as Sargis pulls out, drops to the inside, sneaks underneath. Dean Johnson takes over the lead in the early going of this one. Another Triumph there in 3rd, and then the midget. Now, watch this battle as Johnson, we thought he was in trouble, but look at this. Tommy, he just comes up and makes the move.
Well, he might, you know, that's a pretty classic Mid-Ohio out-braking deal, but he does it with authority. I mean, he's a full 2 car lengths clear before he turns in. So he might have dropped back to kind of assess the situation with that smoke and then showed his muscle.
At this stage now, we've got a good battle going on as number 17, Hugh Armstrong, who started in 8th, pulls out and gets by number 44, Kevin Allen. That is the battle for 3rd, and that midget makes the pass. Hugh Armstrong doing a nice job. Watch this now. 44, that's Allen again, and the Triumph ducks to the inside. Not only makes the pass, there's 35 Johnson in trouble, and Allen goes right back into 3rd, and 35 Johnson, it was terminal.
Classic double pass right back there. As you saw, the pop-out was too early, and the other guy got an advantage to get a wrap by him before they got to the end of the straightaway.
And at this stage now, number 18, Sargis, that red Triumph up front, is leading. And suddenly, look at Kevin Allen, just moves up and blows by him, takes over the position, goes to the point. Hugh Armstrong coming on strong as well. As it turns out, the leader at the time, Sargis, got stuck in 2nd gear and lost that spot to Kevin Allen. They're working through the carousel here onto the front straight. You can see Sargis in trouble, moves wide to let number 17, Armstrong, through. Armstrong gives him the wave, says, we appreciate it, know you're in trouble. And Armstrong just motors on and takes over the spot. But now here is number 17, Hugh Armstrong. He is working over Allen. This is for the lead.
Yeah, that's a good run down the straightaway again. Look at that hood shaking like crazy. That's not helping aerodynamically a bit, I guarantee you that. And here in a 44 Triumph comes down the inside with a little bit more straightaway speed. Might be due to that.
It's a good chance. You've seen that twice where he pulled out around, and then as soon as he got in front, it's like he hit a brick wall. And whoa!
Oh, big spin. Big spin there.
He just carried way too much speed into the top of the S's, and off he went. A little bit further back in the pack now. This is a great battle for what is third. It's 26, Kent Prather, and 29, Chris Fox. Nice move by Prather.
Yeah, I think it was Kent Prather at the beginning of the show that got 2 wheels off in the grass on the start. That didn't help him, and that's an old MG that he's driving right there.
Well, he made it good, as they say, and is now running in third position in that battle with Chris Fox. Very strong action, no question. And Prather, look at that. Big puff of smoke, problems.
Oh, big problems. I think that's an engine expiring on that car. As you see now, he pulls it off the racetrack. Yeah, I think that let go in a big way there.
And you saw number 44, who had that big spin, moving up, and Prather's off. And look at that. There's the guy he was just racing with. 29, Fox having his problems as well. Now, back at the front, 17, Hugh Armstrong under attack from number 18, Sargis. They head down into turn 7. Traffic, almost you would think athwart Sargis. He finds a hole and squirts through. And look at the brake lockup, Tommy.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to give that position up. Again, he's fighting that fluttering hood, and everyone's all over him, but he's able to maintain. Here he is. He's got a mirror full of the red car, and so he, off in the grass,
goes off,
does not lift one iota, but still have the grass on his tires. Wow.
He spins. He picked up second place. Sargis trying to go around him. Somehow Armstrong kept it alive, got moving. Look at his crew. They saw what happened. They can't believe it. Here he comes, the first one to get restarted, comes up to the start-finish line, and number 17, Armstrong, big hit and all, takes the win over Sargis. Absolutely phenomenal win, and of course, he was a very happy winner down at Victory Lane.
Steve Sargis, a wild last lap. Try to describe that for us.
Well, in the middle of the race, the car got stuck in second gear, so I let the 2 guys by. And miraculously, a lap later, I got it out and got all my gears back. So I knew I was back in the hunt. When Kevin spun, I thought if I could chase Hugh down, he might make a mistake at the end. Unfortunately, his mistake involved me, and he got started before I did. It was a great race. I don't blame Hugh. I mean, that's what I wanted him to do, was spin. It's just unfortunate I was in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Hugh Armstrong, tell us about that last lap. That 18 was getting bigger and bigger in your mirrors.
Oh yeah, Steve's a great competitor, and I actually had lost track of him. I thought he might have been out of the race. Suddenly I looked up and I saw him coming, and I knew he wasn't going to give me any room at all. Went down the back straightaway. He got up beside me, and it was sort of just who was going to break last. I was able to get through that, and I knew he'd make another run at me up here. As I said, I got off the track. It was an unfortunate incident, but hey, I'll tell you what, we worked a long time. My wife has done just a great job, and without her, I wouldn't be here at all.
Well, you should have seen the excitement in the pit lane. They win the prize, you win the prize. Congratulations on national champion.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Lana.
You.
Well, in the background there, you can hear Steve Sargis giving him a congratulations. Hugh Armstrong, boy, one of the more exciting wins you're ever going to see, takes it over Sargis. Kevin Allen, after that spin, dropped out of the top 10, back to third. George Bachman, fourth. And Mark Webber, the racing photographer, running 2 classes here this week and having a very strong run up into 5th spot. So that Jeep production race, very exciting. Now, we had a restart briefly while we were away, and brief is the reason. That's it. 99, Greg Bruns, who was leading at the time of the restart, out of the race, and you can see why. Some pretty severe damage to the right rear corner of that V.
Yeah, I was going to say that production race looks like a V race or a Ford race, the way those guys were going at it. So, and now our V race is starting to look the same way. You know, that's tough. Hopefully we can catch a replay of that and see what, it takes a pretty heavy hit because these cars are stout, even though they're formula cars. Let's go to Biz for more on this.
Madeline Young, your husband, Greg Brun, what a great first couple laps, and then it all stopped. What happened?
Well, as far as I can tell from a report from someone else, I believe car 70 touched the back end of him and they went out. And last I heard, I didn't hear this from Greg on his radio, that his car was in the middle of the track in turn 1 and they were sending the wrecker out there. But he's out of the car and he's okay.
But those opening laps, going from 6th place to 1st, how did he do that?
Well, as far as I can tell, the first two guys, he went from 6th to 3rd immediately. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see that. And then the first two guys, I think, went a little sideways, and he took advantage of that. And he was ready to take advantage of any opportunity that there was going to happen. He also had the mantra of driving the course, driving smooth, and go around any obstacles and take advantage of anything that came along.
Well, it's all ended quickly. We're very sorry.
Very much. I'm very sorry also. Next.
Mantra. That's a good way to put it. Sometimes you've just got to almost get into a meditative state here to make things work.
Well, there's so much stuff going on. Like I always tell my guys, with my limited mental capacity, you got to keep it simple. And if you keep replaying that to you, here you have kind of the tail end in the car. You know, the majority has already happened. You can see.
You can see him. He's parked right there.
One thing for sure, it was a big hit because the front of this car over here is completely destroyed. The white car that went by had no front end left on it, so it's hit something extremely hard. And there is, in fact, the one car sitting dead right in the middle of the water there.
Boy, in the middle of the water, in the middle of about, what, 40 more
Yeah, that's a
V's
terrible
storming
feeling.
by. It's got to be tough feeling.
Yeah, in a little twist of irony, the benefactor of that becomes Jacques Lazier.
Oh, see what we were talking about? That car had sat there for quite a long time, and that was a very big hit right there and set the 54 car upside
That's Dave
down.
Beckish who came along. Dave started 45th shotgun on the field and came along there. That's an example where it's hard to say, you don't know. The flaggers do the job to warn for that kind of thing, but people get caught up in their own race, and they, it's hard to see around the corner.
Well, Jacques Lazier now, your leader in Formula V, will be back to pick up the green in a minute. Back at Mid-Ohio, there's number 54, Dave Beckish, the New Englander Northeastern Division driver. And watch what happened. Remember, we saw him right before he went to break taking a tumble. Look what actually happened. There's the car in the middle of the track sitting dead in the water. Look at the two cars coming up, Tommy.
You can see the silver car, and behind him is Dave Beckish, who is screened, and he can't see until he pulls out. So in a way, that's understandable. But if you know the rules, when there's a waving yellow, you know there is an incident that is imminent and dangerous right in front of you. And so it is your responsibility to not do anything, including pull out, until you can identify the hazard. So no one feels worse about it than he does at this point. Let's hope everyone's okay. I mean, that's a heck of a tumble for himself. But that's why exactly why the corner workers are there, and they are your eyes and ears on the course.
That's a tough ride. Now, obviously, I mean, I would guess sometime in your guys' career, you've been on the roof, as they say. That's not a comfortable thing to have happen.
No, that was a real big hit, no question about it. And the bad thing is that car was sitting in the middle of the track there for probably close to a half a minute or so before that accident happened. So like Tommy said, there were flags at that scene, and you gotta think about that a little bit, because an accident like that is a pretty big accident. He tried very hard to get back in line after he popped out and saw the car sitting there. He tried to one time to move back, but they locked wheels, and that surely put him on. And that was a very big hit, no question about that.
Well, I know the corner workers call that overdriving a yellow, and they're not real crazy about it when it happens, no question. There's our leader, 34, Jacques Lazier. Now, 2 years ago, he came here, qualified very strongly, won it last year. But let's check into pit lane. Let's check in with Biz.
Angelique Adams, you are the entire crew for good old Jacques Lazier here. Now, these two yellows, how's that going to affect him?
It's not. As long as he stays awake, he's ready. His head is in this. He's been running Indy Lights this year. And all I've heard him talk about the entire year is, I can't wait to that Formula V race. This is his roots. This is where it comes from. So his head is in there.
He just went by 2 inches from another car. Does that bother you much?
No, it doesn't. I think maybe it did last year. But this year, after seeing him in those faster cars, these seem like they're almost at a walk-in pace. I think here it's more about your talent also. You know, all the cars are the same. They're evenly matched. And I know his head is in it. I know he thinks. And I know he doesn't make a move without knowing what he's doing, exactly what he's doing.
I think we should add Angelique to the announce team, guys. What do you think?
Works for me. Impressive. Well, and again, Jacques, as we said, last year when he came here, he qualified 27th. It wasn't indicative of what he could do. We had rain on one qualifying day, and he ended up on the dry day. Big problems. Boy, did he make good coming from 27th on the race. There's fourth place now, number 77, Jim Kearney, qualified 5th in the Northeastern Division, and has been very quick as well. And Jim having a good run early. Let's check in with Bob.
And Jim's fiance, Linda Lehman, is down here in the pits. It's kind of a fiance thing today. We just talked to Jacques Lazier's fiance, Angelique. That's right. Now, I got to ask you, in this form of racing, you know, it's open wheel and sometimes things happen. How are your nerves?
A little jittery, but I've been doing this now for 6 years, so I've got a solid core going.
What do you think of Jim's performance here so far? I know it's obviously early.
Oh, it's great. I mean, we're in great position. We're in 4th position. It's real solid. You can let the front guys duke it out and move right in there.
All right, good luck to you the rest of the way.
Thanks.
Linda Lehman down here eyeing the progress of her fiance.
Well, in progress, it is having a very strong run, as you said, up into 4th spot, made a spot up early in the action. Now, keep in mind, we have 9 laps of 19 done. All the races today, 19 laps in duration. A lot of this one under yellow, and obviously that's because of those 2 incidents, particularly the second one. At this stage, there's been a lot, these yellows have been going long.